fabled heat, where magic meets desire. Subscribe to ignite the fantasy.
As I stood on the edge of the alien planet's vast, uncharted rainforest, the weight of our mission settled heavy on my shoulders. The air was thick with the scent of exotic flowers and the sounds of creatures I'd never imagined. Our team of scientists and explorers had been sent to assess the habitability of this mysterious world, codenamed Nyxoria. The prospect of finding a new home for humanity was both exhilarating and terrifying. Dr. Patel, our team leader, turned to me with a concerned expression. "Are you sure you want to proceed, Lieutenant Commander?" she asked, her voice laced with a hint of doubt. "Their planet is older, their oceans deeper, their rainforests larger and more densely packed with life. We would not be on the top of the food chain. Are you sure you want this to be humanity's salvation?" I took a deep breath, the cool, damp air filling my lungs. "We have no choice, Doctor. Earth is dying. We need a new home, and Nyxoria is our best hope." As we ventured deeper into the rainforest, the sounds of the alien creatures grew louder, and the shadows seemed to writhe and twist around us. I felt a shiver run down my spine, but I pushed on, driven by my duty to ensure the survival of humanity. It was then that I saw him, a towering figure with piercing green eyes and skin that seemed to blend seamlessly with the surrounding foliage. He was unlike anything I'd ever seen before, and yet there was something about him that felt familiar. Over the next few weeks, our team encountered numerous challenges as we explored the planet. We discovered strange, glowing plants that seemed to have a life of their own and creatures that defied explanation. But it was the enigmatic stranger who continued to haunt my thoughts. I began to notice that he was always watching us, his eyes fixed on me with an unnerving intensity. I tried to brush it off as mere curiosity, but the sensation of being stalked lingered. One night, as I stood guard duty, I felt a presence behind me. I spun around, my heart racing, and found the stranger standing mere inches from me. His eyes seemed to burn with an inner fire, and I felt my skin prickle with awareness. "You should not be here," he growled, his voice low and husky. I stood my ground, trying to appear braver than I felt. "We mean no harm, we're just exploring." The stranger's gaze lingered on mine, and for a moment I thought I saw a flicker of something like longing, but it was quickly replaced by a scowl. "I am Kale," he said, his voice rough, "and you human are a danger to yourself and others." As the days passed, Kale became a constant presence in our lives. He would appear and disappear at random, always watching, always waiting. I began to feel a strange, creeping sense of unease around him, as if he was waiting for me to make a wrong move. But despite the danger that lurked beneath his surface, I found myself drawn to Kale. There was something about him that seemed to call to me, something that made me feel alive. It wasn't until we stumbled upon an ancient ruin deep in the rainforest that I began to understand the true nature of our connection. The walls of the ruin were covered in strange, glowing symbols that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. Kale appeared beside me, his eyes fixed on the symbols. "This is a place of great power," he said, his voice low and reverent. "A place where the ancient ones once walked among the gods." As I reached out to touch the symbols, I felt a sudden jolt of energy. The world around me began to spin, and I stumbled, falling into Kale's arms. It was then that I saw it, a vision of a future where humanity and the creatures of Nyxoria coexisted in harmony. A future where Kale and I stood together, hand in hand, as the planet's guardians. As the vision faded, I looked up at Kale, my heart pounding in my chest. "What does it mean?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Kale's eyes locked onto mine, and I saw the truth there, a truth that would change everything. "You are my fated mate," he said, his voice low and husky, "and together we will determine the fate of this planet and the future of our species." As the reality of our situation sank in, I felt a sense of wonder and trepidation. We were not just explorers or scientists, we were pawns in a much larger game. A game where the stakes were higher than I could have ever imagined. And as I stood there, wrapped in Kale's arms, I knew that I had to make a choice. Would I follow my heart and risk everything for a chance at a new future, or would I play it safe and potentially doom humanity to extinction? The fate of our world and the future of our species hung in the balance, and I was the only one who could tip the scales.